Well, this month, CBN is relaunching Club 700 OY. Just like the 700 Club, the show features inspiring stories, faith-based commentary, and its goal to reach the Spanish-speaking communities for Christ.
In its 60th year of broadcasting, including 40 years of Spanish programming, CBN recently introduced Club 700 Hoy, a new Spanish-speaking program. Offering inspiring, human interest stories and fascinating interviews and insights, Club 700 Hoy reaches the multi-generational Hispanic family in North America. Co-hosts Roberto Torres-Cedillo and Jessica Datsko invite viewers to share in the great influence of Hispanics in our multifaceted society.
Well, joining us now are the hosts of 700 Club OY, Roberto and Jessica. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having us.
To be here.
Jessica, I got to go back in time to the first time I met you. Do you remember that?
Yes.
We were at Demetrius Stallings' ordination, and we were praying over her, and then suddenly Jessica comes up from the audience with this prophetic song over Demetria, and I'm going, who is this? And so I go up to her and say, who are you? And she says, well, I work for you.
I work for you. I was in shock.
Did you ever think you're going to be hosting your own show?
No. No, not at all.
Tell us about the journey. How did you get from Mexico to first California and then to Virginia Beach?
Well, so we're siblings.
Yep.
And Robert is older than me, and basically my parents, they've been in ministry for many years in Mexico, and they felt the Lord open a door for our family to be able to come to California for Roberto's health specifically. He had God provided a financial and medical need, and so we came to the States, and then from California we came to Virginia because my dad got a scholarship to Regent University for his master's, so that's how we ended up here eventually.
Yep.
And you guys followed in his footsteps.
Yep.
You both went to Regent.
Yep,
We
we're
did.
Regent grads.
Yeah, the Lord provided for us as well. We both were given scholarships,
Yes.
and God's faithfulness towards us. So we graduated. I graduated in 2012, and you graduated.
2017.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
a bit of an age gap.
So what's your degree in?
Communications.
All right.
Yeah.
So you got educated to be here. I've heard you say Jessica's the smart one in the family, that
Yeah.
she's biophysics.
Biophysical sciences.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. She is the smart one.
Why biophysics?
Well, just seeing God's faithfulness through medicine and the supernatural mixing with the natural my whole life, seeing miracles all the time, and then having my own miracle with the Lord. I had a tumor at 16 years old and just had a miraculous recovery. That just inspired me. I switched from communications. That was my goal my whole life, and I decided to study something of interest, and what a privilege that I got to do that. And yeah.
Okay.
And now you're in communications.
And now I'm in communications, so the Lord still brought me back.
And learning from Roberto. Everything.
Yes.
So tell us about the show. What are you hoping to do?
Yeah. Well, Club 700 Hoy is like the 700 Club in Spanish. It follows the same format, culturally relevant stories for Hispanics. And we want to just extend, a welcome to La Familia, the Hispanic familia. And so when they're tuning in, when they're watching, we want them to be feeling at home, that this is something that they can relate to. And of course, it's in Spanish. And we have human interest stories. We have testimonies of people's lives radically changed, healings, provision. And at the same time, we want to just come alongside of the Hispanic community that for a long time in this country specifically, they've been a force for good. And they're going to continue growing. They're going to continue, it's expected that the demographic will continue to grow. And so we just want to collaborate with them. We want to empower them and show them and invite them what God in his faithfulness has allowed CBN to do throughout the years in Latin America and now here in the United States.
Well, what was it like for you? I mean, you're an immigrant, so what was it like for you, the whole transition from life in Puebla, Mexico, to now here in Virginia Beach?
Well, it was a journey. It was a process. There were some difficult times. I did experience bullying in elementary school. There were difficult conversations, and I remember in elementary school.
What was the bullying for?
Well, they would call me nicknames. They would say certain things, which I won't repeat here, but just because as an immigrant.
In grade school?
Yeah, because, I was in a private Christian school, and the Lord redeemed all that. But I was there, and of course, they were trying to understand how a Mexican immigrant was in their classroom, and when they had in their own context people that they knew. So it was hard for them to understand that. But the Lord redeemed that. He gave me grace, and we both grew. I think both parties grew, and I think the Lord just used that to create empathy, to create compassion and resilience during that time, you know?
Okay. You talk about third culture Hispanics. What do you mean?
Well, third culture is something that actually Jessica you brought it up recently, but third culture is something that as kind of missionary kids or kids living in a different country, you know, for us, you come here, and a lot of Hispanics can relate to this because they come here and they're trying to find their identity, and we want to kind of bridge that and tell them we understand how that feels because you come from a different country, you come here and to the American culture, and you're trying to fit in. And that's great. This country has opened up its arms. We're part of this country. But at the same time, there's that kind of like, okay, how do I bring in my culture and also contribute? So it's an interesting dynamic being a third culture kid. But I think it's a blessing that God can use for this nation and for other nations as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think increasingly we're becoming a cross-cultural culture.
Absolutely.
And, you know, in times past, we called it the great melting pot, but I actually think cross-cultural, and my experience in the Philippines really opened my eyes to how wonderful other cultures can be, especially when you sit down and eat this wonderful food. So we're going to have to eat together. Roberto is also cross-cultural in his marriage. He married an Israeli, so.
That's right. Yeah.
Married a Ukrainian.
Just bring in the nations.
Yeah, you're going to bring that all to the show. All right, the shows are on. We'll have more information on CBN.com.